What's up, guys? As promised, I said I would start reviewing more anime, so I thought, why not review an anime that I've watched, I don't know, 3 straight times in the last 2 months? Clearly one of my favorites, so I thought I would finally spread the word on my in-depth thoughts on what I thought on the show as a whole. So jumping right into it, Your Lie in April is an anime, a very short, one season, 22 episode anime. In fact, it's a humble little story about a piano prodigy named Kosei Arima, and he loses his will to play the piano after he loses his mother to an illness, but through a flurry of circumstances, he meets a girl named Kaori, who's a violinist, who inspires him to pick up the piano once again. This anime, jumping right into it, this anime is simply breathtaking. I was mesmerized from the first episode all the way through. I absolutely love this show. It does so many things right. Starting right off is the visuals. The visuals and animation of this show is amazing. There are so many in-depth character moments where they're just set to a beautiful backdrop of a sunset or a starry night sky. This show really takes advantage of the audio-visual format. Every scene looks gorgeous, the character models are detailed and lively, the animation as a whole in this show is simply breathtaking. I love it. The second thing I love about Your Lie in April is just its themes. It's very thematic, and it's very drama. At times it's melodramatic, but it's a drama, and it's a musical drama, and not musical in the typical sense where characters all of a sudden just burst out into song and sing about how they're feeling, but it's musically driven. Everyone in the show, most of the prominent characters in the show have some sort of musical experience. Kaori's a violinist, Kosei is a piano prodigy, and they enter a series. The plot mostly moves forward with their character development and how they perform on stage in front of people. And it's very inspiring, the themes this show chooses to tackle, and just that how music is something that should be beloved and enjoyed by all people, and how you shouldn't just necessarily stick to the score of a music, but you should put your own heart and your own spin behind the music you play in order to reach out to others. That's a really prominent theme of the show, reaching out to people with music. And as someone who's played music for years, both trumpet and piano, and more recently, if this show will resonate with anyone who has had any sort of experience with the instrument. It just is completely inspiring for you to get right back up on the horse, pick back up your music, and reach people with it. I love the themes, the emotional themes that this show chose to tackle. And there's another thing, speaking of emotions, man, does this show hit you in the feels? There are so many moments where characters just emote and they just break down in dialogue, and it's interesting. It's very slow-paced, but it's very interesting because they're just spilling their guts to each other. It was very amazing. I was watching it with my friend, and he was like, this is basically at its core, on the surface level, this is just a bunch of kids in their middle school drama. There's a lot of romance. There's, of course, a romantic element to this show. But he's like, it's just middle schoolers talking. And I'm over here crying, like, why am I so immersed? This show does a really good job of just hitting you in the feels, and a lot of that is due to its music itself. There's so many pieces of classical music that get their own separate renditions, and just their original compositions. The soundtrack is absolutely mind-blowing. A mix of piano, violin, guitar, orchestral strings. It's just so amazing. The first time I finished this show, I could not walk to class or anywhere without having my headphones on listening to the OST. The original soundtrack of the show is absolutely mind-blowing. I absolutely love it. And another thing about the show that's really great is it's character-driven. It's really great at character development. Every character, no matter if they're in a supporting role or get the spotlight in the center of the stage, everyone has a backstory. Everyone has a story to tell. And that's one of the reasons Naruto is one of my favorite animes, probably my favorite anime. Naruto is so great in the sense that everyone has a story, everyone gets a backstory, and they're all relevant to the central plot. That's one of the things Your Lie in April does flawlessly. Characters will sometimes just pop randomly out of the blue, and you're like, why are they even here? And then they connect to the general story. That's what I absolutely love. So let's talk about the characters individually. Kosei is very shy, and he's introverted. He's very shy and introverted, but Kaori is the exact opposite. She's bold, she's brash, she's completely extroverted, and she helps him break himself out of his shell, and she helps him get over his guilt, because a lot of Kosei's backstory has to deal with his mother training him and actually physically abusing him when he was younger in order to be the best pianist he can be. So he ended up despising the piano when his mother died, but actually ends up clinging to it despite that. Kosei is a great character. He comes full circle by the end, and the journey, this show really takes you on a journey. The emotional journey that Kosei, the steps he takes towards a larger goal, and how his perspective on music over how music should be played. Should I stick to the score? Should I put my own spin to it? His journey as a whole is so captivating, and they all come full circle every time he steps onto the stage. I also really love Kosei's friends. Kaori is her own separate character. She brings out the best in everyone she's around. She's very entertaining to watch. But his friends, Kosei's childhood friends, and Watari, who's the captain of the soccer team and a super romantical womanizer, he's hilarious to watch. He brings a lot of the comedy relief. So Watari, and he also gave a lot of good bro advice to help Kosei move forward when he's not sure how he should approach his feelings with Kaori. Watari was an awesome character. And Tsubaki was so great because she was just loyal to him. She was his first childhood friend, just loyal to him from the beginning. This show definitely does such a great job of showing the banter between the characters, and they're written so well. You really get a feel of the history between them. That's why you care about the drama that unfolds. You're like, yeah, I can see someone in my life like that. I can see a Tsubaki or a Watari. I can see a wingman. I can see a childhood friend of mine like that. So that's why this show, its drama just resonates. Its drama just hits so well. As far as the cons of this show, is that I've seen this show 3 times already, so I can kind of tell the first act of the show, meaning the first 3 to 4 episodes, they are very slowly paced. They really take their time in developing these characters and developing this world that they're in. But at the same time, I was immersed from the first episode, so it's not really for me. A lot of viewers are going to find the first 3 to 4 episodes to be a little slow. And also, the show has a heavy reliance on bathos. While I would applaud this show in its sense of humor, how it's able to balance the humor and the drama, bathos is a term that refers to when a serious moment gets undercut by a joke. This is a tactic that's used by a lot of Marvel Cinematic Universe themes, where they'll be in a heavy moment, and then they just use a joke to play off and move along the scene. This show relies on that a lot more than the typical anime I watch, but it's used so well at times, but it's very selective. Sometimes they do it very well. Sometimes it kind of undercuts a dramatic moment that I wish would resonate more. So that's why I kind of had to put it on the con side. Regardless, I had to reiterate that this is one of my favorite animes. I have watched it 3 times in the last 2 months, all the way through. It completely inspired me. Its soundtrack is so beautiful. As soon as I finished the show, I played piano for like 3 straight hours. I just couldn't stop. It was amazing. This show is definitely inspiring. It will resonate with you if you love music, if you've played an instrument before, if you love anime, if you love a good story. Definitely give Your Lie in April a shot. I am going to give it a perfect 5 out of 5 stars. Not because I think it's a perfect show, but because it perfectly resonated with me. It took me on a journey, and it forever changed how I watch shows like these. Guys, thanks so much for hearing my perspective. I am Pac. Please like and share and subscribe if you like the video, and I'm out for now.